16,000 square miles. That is roughly how much territory one woman seized across the West African savanna before most European nations even had standing armies. And she did it on horseback. So Amina grows up in Zazzau, which today is Zaria in northern Nigeria. Her family is royalty, but she is not sitting around waiting for a marriage proposal. She is attending war councils as a kid. Like, picture a teenager sharpening a spear while grown men debate cavalry formations. That was her childhood. Her brother Karama rules for about 10 years, and during that time she is basically his top military commander. She is not waiting for power, she is already using it. Then when he dies, she steps up, and nobody questions it because she has already proven herself on the battlefield dozens of times over. Now here is where it gets wild. Her campaigns lasted around 34 years. 34. She pushed Zazzau's borders further than any ruler before her, opening up trade routes that connected her kingdom to the massive trans-Saharan networks. We are talking cola nuts, salt, leather, horses, all flowing through territory she controlled. But she was not just conquering, she was building. Fortified walls around captured cities, and some of those earthen walls still exist today. Locals call them Ganuwar Amina, Amina's walls. Archaeologists argue about which ones she actually built, but the fact that her name is still attached to structures 500 years later tells you something about the impression she left. The funny thing is, most of what we know comes from oral tradition, not written records. Griots passed her story down generation after generation, and the details shift depending on who is telling it. Some say she never married. Some say she took a new companion after every battle and never saw them again. Legend and history blur together, and honestly, that might be the most honest way to remember someone that powerful. The facts we can confirm are extraordinary enough. Stolen. That is the word colonial officers used when they first saw massive earthen fortifications snaking across northern Nigeria and could not believe a woman built them. They assumed a king, maybe an empire, anyone but a woman on horseback commanding thousands. So here is the thing nobody talks about. Amina of Zazzau probably never called herself a queen. The Hausa title she likely held was closer to a military governor, someone who earned command not through inheritance alone, but through results. And her results were terrifying. According to tradition, she led cavalry raids that swallowed entire city-states into Zazzau's trade network. Not for glory, for cola nuts, salt, leather, and horses. She was basically running a 16th century logistics empire with a sword. Now the plot twist. Some historians think the famous fortifications credited to her might predate her by generations. The walls exist, no question. You can still find remnants near Zaria today. But whether Amina built them, expanded them, or just used them so effectively that people slapped her name on them forever, that is genuinely up for debate. Imagine being so iconic that infrastructure from before your birth gets attributed to you. That is a level of personal branding nobody alive has achieved. One historian I read suggested Amina might be a composite figure. Multiple powerful Zazzau women collapsed into one legendary character over centuries of oral retelling, which honestly makes the story even wilder. Maybe it was not one woman who did all this. Maybe it was several, and history decided that was too much to handle, so it merged them into one. Either way, somebody built those walls. Somebody commanded those cavalry units. And for centuries, the answer people kept giving was a woman's name. That tells you everything. Somewhere in northern Nigeria, there are walls older than most European castles. And nobody can agree on who actually built them. But every griot in the region points to the same name. So here is the thing about Amina of Zazzau that nobody talks about. Forget the battlefield stuff for a second. This woman was basically running a logistics empire in the 1500s. While European kings were still figuring out plumbing, she was coordinating cavalry supply lines across hundreds of miles of savanna. Horses need water. Soldiers need food. You try feeding an army in the Sahel with no refrigeration and no paved roads. That is not a warrior flex. That is a project management flex. Now, the oral traditions say she never lost a battle in her life. Historians say, hold on, we cannot verify that. We just know she expanded Zazzau's territory significantly and fortified trade routes with earthen walls. Some of those walls still exist. You can visit them. They are just chilling in northern Nigeria, looking unbothered. The funniest part to me is the legend that she refused to marry anyone permanently. Every town she conquered, she would allegedly take a companion for one night and then keep it moving. Basically invented situationships 6 centuries early. Respectfully, an icon. But here is what actually matters. She turned a mid-sized Hausa city-state into a regional power by controlling trade corridors. Cola nuts, leather, salt, all flowing through her territory. Every merchant passing through paid up. She was not just conquering land, she was collecting tolls. And the wildest part is we still argue about where the legend stops and the real woman begins, which honestly might be the most powerful thing about her. Even the mystery works in her favor. There is a tax record from 16th century Zazzau that lists tolls collected at a single gate over one dry season. Cola nuts, leather, salt, iron, hundreds of caravans, and every single toll was enforced under the authority of one person, not a king, a woman named Amina. Now forget everything you think you know about her for a second. Forget the big battles. I want to talk about something nobody covers, how she actually ran things day to day. So picture this, you are a merchant. You are moving salt south from the Sahara into what is now northern Nigeria. You hit a fortified checkpoint. There is a wall, a gate, and guards who report directly to Amina's administration. You pay your toll, you get protection for the next stretch of road, and your goods arrive intact. That system did not exist before her. She built it. And here is what is wild. Tradition holds she did not just conquer towns and move on. She installed governors. She integrated local leaders into her chain of command. She basically created a franchise model for running an empire. You keep your local authority, but you answer to Zazzau, and the trade keeps flowing. Now, some of this comes from oral tradition passed down through griots, and some comes from the Kano Chronicle, and historians genuinely argue about the exact timeline. Was it the 1500s or earlier? The sources do not fully agree. But what nobody disputes is the infrastructure, the fortifications across Hausa land that shaped trade routes for generations after her. So the next time someone reduces her story to just a military thing, remember, the roads, the tolls, the governors, that is statecraft. And most of it has barely been studied.